The existence or non-existence of God can be explained in many ways, but the simplest way to come at this is by talking about the different religions with the three worldviews I'm going to talk about: theism, polytheism, and atheism. I'm going to start with theism. Theism is the belief of one or more God, and using the sevenfold criteria I got out of this is this worldview, which is theism, free of logical inconsistencies. And I feel theism can go either way because it is believing in one or more gods. So in some religions there may be just one, and in others there can be multiple. And it is either true or false. If you believe, you believe. If you don't believe, you don't believe. Like, it's your opinion, it's your life. And the second question is, what evidential values does this worldview possess? Yes, I believe theism has evidence because miracles happen every day out of the blue that science cannot explain. Only a much higher power, such as a God, has the power to do things like that. No science can explain someone getting cured from cancer or falling from a building and living. Like, stuff like that doesn't just happen because science. It's something has to heal that, something higher and greater than us. The third one is, does this worldview relate directly to how you actually live your life? And how I live my life is, I said yes, because I do believe there's a God or some type of higher power in our world. Going to church and praying is a way I use this worldview daily. I don't go to church often, but I do believe there's a God. Does this worldview actually work? In this world, religious people pray to some sort of higher power. In some cases, prayer does turn into a reality. You can pray for a good grade on your test and you get it. You can pray for, like, safety of another loved one and it be granted. But in other cases, they do not always return into reality. So the consequence here is not always relying on your prayer. Like, pray and stuff, but don't get your hopes up that it's always gonna be what you want it to be, because it's not 100% all the time. The fifth question is, this worldview is worthwhile. And living a life with religion can make a person have faith in one thing, and in my opinion, can make a person happier, having a purpose going through life. So yes, I believe it's worthwhile. Having something to put all your stress and your weight on is a lot. Like, you can't carry that yourself. You need something that will help you and keep you grounded and keep your morals there. And then number 6 is, this worldview weighty or substantive? And yes, religion can pull all life together. It saved many lives when people give themselves to the Lord or the higher power. Personally, I know people who have been hitting rock bottom and they finally found Jesus and they pick themselves back up and have something to live for. So yes, I do believe this believing in something is great. And then the last question is, does this worldview promote moral and aesthetic qualities that meaningfully improve or degrade that which is good, honorable, and noble? And to me, having faith does generate virtue, and it contributes to the well-being and goodness of majority of the people who believe. It very much satisfies our conscience. Like, having like Jesus in our hearts settles us, like, relaxes. It's something like majority of people go to when they have issues or they're struggling. So that's just what I got from that. And with atheism, I feel atheism is based on the person. Not believing in a higher power could result in a lot of judgment and questioning from other people. Things happen that science can't always explain, so I would say atheism can go either way as well, for the first question of the sevenfold criteria. The second question is, what evidential values does this worldview possess? And I think this worldview doesn't possess much evidence due to the fact that science can't provide everything. There's things that happen every day that science cannot provide evidence for. The third one, does this worldview relate directly to how you actually live your life? For me, it does not directly relate to how I live my life, but I have known people and met people who live their life not believing in a God or higher power. Does this worldview actually work? it may work for some people, probably more realist people who don't really, who are like in the science field kind of, than other people. I have no right to judge someone. It's their choice to believe. And then the fifth one is this worldview worthwhile? For me, I would not think so, but it may work for others. I would not think being an atheist is worthwhile just because you don't have anything to put your stress and everything on. You don't have something to keep you grounded with your morals. Sixth question is this worldview weighty or substantive? And I believe this worldview is weighty and can weigh a person down because of all the weight and baggage they may carry, because they don't have anything to like praise or give all their glory to like let themselves just like relax. No one to pray or vent for help and advice and when things get hard. And the last one is, does this worldview promote moral and aesthetic qualities that are meaningful, improve, or degrade that which is good, honorable, and noble? And I don't believe being an atheist can promote or improve a person of goodness, because they may not have morals or goals to accomplish. They may have their own goals to accomplish, but not in like a religious setting. And that's atheism. If you didn't know, atheism is where you don't believe in any God, the disbelief or lack of belief in the existence of a God or gods. And then the last one I'm going to talk about is polytheism, which is the belief in multiple gods. So that's just what it is. And then the sevenfold criteria for that one is this worldview free of logical inconsistencies? And I kind of relate it back to theism, because theism is one or more gods and polytheism is more than one god. So like multiple, poly means many. So I feel polytheism can go either way as well. Like majority, I believe people either have one or no God, because that's just me, but I know other religions do. So it's just depending on the person and like what they believe. And then the second question is, what evidential values does this worldview possess? And I believe it possesses whatever many gods. It's kind of like theism, just with more gods. Like science can't explain everything, so these gods help like us live our life. Like there has to be a much bigger power in this world. And does this worldview relate directly to how you actually live your life? No, because I believe in one God and not multiple, so it doesn't relate to me. I've never really met anyone who's believed in multiple, so that'd be interesting if I ever met somebody. And then fourth question is, does this worldview actually work? Well, it may work for some people, may not all people, maybe just a few religions, but I'm sure it does work for some. Is this worldview worthwhile? I believe so, because you are believing in a Lord, you are giving, you are having morals. Number 6, is this worldview weighty or substantive? I'm not really sure. I try to learn as much as I could about it. I believe it wouldn't be so much weighty. I feel like it would be very good to have like that like stable like relationship with whatever God or however many gods you may believe in. And the 7th is, does this worldview promote moral and aesthetic qualities that are meaningful and improve or degrade that which is good, honorable, and noble? And same as theism, there is a God. I think having faith generates virtue, and it contributes to the well-being and goodness of people, and having their morals set and stuff. And so going back to the 3 things, theism, which we know is belief in one or more gods. It covers a huge range of religious beliefs called the Abrahamic monotheisms, which is Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Theism refers to any kind of belief in any god or gods, so it's difficult to make any other generalizations. A belief in a god can also be attached to other beliefs, such as the belief of afterlife or the soul. So when you die, you go to heaven. Theism can be subdivided into many other historical cultures, traditions: Judaism, Christianity, Hinduism, and Islam. These divisions can be known as monotheism, which is one God; polytheism, many gods, which we'll talk about later; and then ditheism is two gods, which usually one good, one bad, maybe; and then henotheism is one main God with many minor gods. And this worldview of theism states that the existence and continuance of the universe is owed to one supreme big who is distinct from the creation, and then has a lot of other stuff too. And then second one is polytheism, the belief in worship of more than one God. And this polytheistic religion has a supreme creator and focuses on devotion. For example, in some parts of Hinduism, there's a tendency where the many gods are somehow ranked, and some gods are considered higher than, more important and less important than others. In Buddhism, where in some cases prove their dominance without attaining the overall supremacy. So for example, Zeus in Greek religion, he's obviously has dominance over it, but he never he's not number one. And then also in some polytheistic cultures includes the belief in many demonic and ghostly forces in addition to the gods, and some supernatural beings will be hostile. And the last one is, back to that, the best known polytheistic faith in this world is Hinduism. And then the last one I'm going to talk about is atheism, and the disbelief or lack of belief in the existence of a god or gods. Atheism is denial of metaphysical beliefs in a higher power known as a god. It's usually distinguished from theism. It affirms the reality and divine and can sometimes seek and demonstrates its existence. Unlike the common religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, where there is just one and only one God, God to them created the universe and everything living in them. But for atheists, there's just no God. Science created everything. Somehow everything was just put together. And then atheism is a denial of God or of the gods, and if a religion or in general religion is defined in terms of belief in spiritual beings, then atheism is the rejection of all religious beliefs. And then to conclude, reading and learning about these three worldviews got me thinking about how I truly live my life. I learned a lot about the depth of what they each mean, and it got me thinking about my morals and religion. I haven't been to church or praying recently, but talking to God as much as I should. But I know in my heart that I believe in my role as a person walking this earth should be overall, and how I'm kind to other people. So, thank you.